Party Line with Sarah and Christy. This is I'm on the Phone podcast, where we're healing out loud, sharing culty stories, and laughing at the mess along the way. So grab a coffee, a bestie, settle in, and let's talk.
All right.
So you want to just dive in here?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hola.
This is your turn today.
Yeah.
You're in the spotlight this morning with our questions.
I'm in the hot seat.
You're in the hot seat, girl. So we're going to start this out with our first question. When did you first start noticing the crack in?
So I think I answered this like not last episode, but the one before, but just to kind of go back over real quick. I really started noticing it in my early college years, like the first college I ever went to.
Mm-hmm.
When I was staying with a Baptist family, and I started noticing how, obviously differently they dress, which is like, at the core of like everything.
Right. Yeah.
It's just, they acted far more Christ-like than the people I had been experiencing, especially at that time, and place, with only a few exceptions. But even those people would to this day maintain that you had to dress in certain ways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I really started first seeing it. I had questions. I always had questions. But I mean, I do remember from a very young age being very judgmental about what other people were wearing, like even as probably like a preschooler. Like thinking that if you were wearing jewelry or makeup or pants, that you were going to hell.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was very ingrained, or was. But yeah, early college is when it was the first time I think I was really around someone who was Christian, who wasn't our brand of Christian. Like intimately knew them. Because I was living with them. Actually, they were providing room and board, and I was helping take care of their house because the lady, she had lupus, and so I helped her, around the house, and in exchange for like room and board. And then I was also working in other like housekeeping jobs, like at some hotels and stuff. But that was the first time I really noticed like a really, really big difference. And, that really planted that seed of questioning, where I knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that you could be a Christian and not do all the things I'd been told you had to do. Because I know you're aware of this, but like when we always viewed other people in other religions as less than. Like,
oh, absolutely.
They were.
They weren't as good as us. They weren't as good Christians.
They were not as good as us. They just didn't have the light.
They were ignorant.
Oh yeah, and it was really bad how they were viewed and talked about. And then if you were Catholic, you were just going to hell. In
a handbasket.
Oh yeah, I mean like they always talked about like, well, you'll probably see some people from other religions like Catholicism in heaven, like, and by other religions they meant denominations. They didn't mean you're going to see a more like a Buddhist or a Muslim or an other religion. They meant another denomination or flavor of Christianity.
Right.
Like Presbyterian or Baptist or Methodist or all those different kinds of things.
Yeah.
So it was a very closed-minded, closed circuit
Mm-hmm.
viewpoint of the world, really.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it never made sense. The rules never made complete sense to me. So that's probably where I really first started. It was the first really big, like, I was like, clearly these two things can't both be true.
They don't matter. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, when I was like 18. Somewhere in there.
A lot happened to you in that 1 year time frame. I remember
yes,
in your story, and yes,
a lot.
a lot. So at the time, at that time, what did you tell yourself to explain it away? Like,
Back then, because I was still so steeped in that world,
mm-hmm.
it was almost like that's okay for them, but not for me.
Okay.
Because it was still that ideology of I have more light than
you. Yes.
But also,
mm-hmm.
There were things where I didn't think that they were wrong, but doing them brought a lot of judgment and consequence.
Yeah.
That, I couldn't handle that.
Right.
It was just safer and easier to not rock that boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By quite a bit. Like that was dangerous for me. Because I would have been considered a sinner.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so something that has always like really stood out to me, because that time at my first college was highly traumatic. Like highly traumatic. And to the point where I was like, my mental health was spiraling pretty badly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I ended up failing with my college courses because I was so, like, my mental health was so bad.
Yeah.
I literally was not showing up to life. And then by the time I went back home, I was still not doing well, but I was away from the environment, like that specific environment.
Yeah.
I was still not doing well, and something happened, and I got into trouble with my parents. And what stands out to me still to this day is that what got focused on when I got in trouble, and it sounds weird, like even saying this now, like I can't even fathom getting my adult child in trouble.
Sorry.
No, it's for real. Like
it's the audacity, Sarah.
Yeah, the entitlement, the audacity, and like it's I literally, it's hard to even articulate like what actually happened, because I would have been like 19.
Okay, so I can't even imagine you getting your oldest in trouble that way right now.
Right.
And he's not even 19. So yeah, it's like this entitlement that they kept having to your life.
Yeah. there was a lot of
And
control.
it even goes into today, I feel like, in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
mm-hmm. Well,
anyway,
so
it's
yeah,
crazy.
I'm not even saying that like what was going on at the time, it wasn't healthy, and it was happening because I was so mentally unhealthy at the time.
Right.
But that's not what they saw
Mm-mm.
or cared about.
That's not what they focused in on at
No,
all.
like so I was in the process of getting yelled at because of
Mm-hmm.
something that had happened.
Mm-hmm.
And what one of them chose to focus on was that I had nail polish. And because I was wearing nail polish like kind of regularly at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't remember what else, but I remember specifically the nail polish. And yet, what was happening for me internally was absolute chaos and devastation that
Mm-hmm.
had nothing to do with nail polish.
No kidding.
And I like absolutely did not feel safe confiding my internal world at any point during this whole thing for I think what are obvious reasons. Like when I'm in trouble and when I'm struggling and things are going haywire, instead of finding out what is at the core, it was all about how it looked and
Yeah.
about appearance. And so that particular moment just lives in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
because it was such a stark contrast of what was focused on versus
Mm-hmm.
what was actually happening,
Mm-hmm.
and the absolute like terror
Yeah.
it felt
Yeah.
like I was far more afraid of that kind of judgment. I was expecting it, but there was far more terror to let in let them into anything beyond that, like to
Well,
my actual real world.
right. And you mentioned danger. I
Yeah.
remember you said danger. That is very interesting to me because I I haven't associated that with like that particular word with this. That's exactly what it was. It was like it was very dangerous to express any kind of your feelings or emotions because if you if if they got any idea that you could be moving away from the way you were raised, you were going to get kicked out on your ass at the age of 19 and be completely alone. That was danger. That was like
Well,
extremely dangerous
it would have
in your
been
head.
it would have been a complete relationship rupture.
Complete. And it would have been complete.
Even if I were still staying in my home, it would have been like the relationship would have been completely ruptured, and I
right.
would have gone from an us to a them,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I was already halfway there, just like in my mind, like
Right.
because I knew where I was
Yeah.
according to what they believed and what I kind of well also believed at the time. Um, I just I often just wonder how my life would be now if I had the support and understanding and resources that I do now, as far as like what was
Mm-hmm.
actually going on. If I would
Mm-hmm.
have had safety.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just something that isn't understood in that world. Like just relationship
Especially back then.
safety.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it still has to do with like being in that cult mentality and
Yeah.
how when you operate from such a deep level of fear around the like how you present yourself to the world determines where you're going to spend eternity. It's like life and death, and not just dying, but like forever and ever and ever and ever eternity.
Right. Yeah.
And it could literally, like, you can go to hell forever and ever and ever because you
Yeah.
wear nail polish.
And it puts that fear and that danger mentality into your head that you could never get away.
That's why it's so terrifying.
Yeah, completely. And oh my God, I feel that so deep.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
So yeah, so when you think about, having autonomy, speaking up for yourself, and that's why it's so difficult, because until you understand that these things do not equal eternal punishment in hell, like literal burning in hell for all of ever, of course you would be terrified.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's way too dangerous. That is part of the danger, is like the belief that this is the consequence.
Yeah.
And everybody's operating on that same belief. So
everyone, absolutely. That's I was talking to my oldest daughter, I think it was yesterday actually, and we were talking about like the fear and the and there again, that word danger, it just has really registered with me right now, because that is exactly what it is. I just never thought of that word to describe the feeling, But anyway, what we were talking about, I was telling her, I used to have this huge fear about just walking into the next room because of these like demonic forces, or, this whole spirit world, whatever, not because of anything I watched or heard or, through media. It was all about what I heard from the pulpit, pretty much. And we were just talking about it, and I said, I do not have that anymore. I do not fear walking outside and getting something out of my van after dark. And I don't fear, it's not like, even though maybe I do have a healthy fear of like other people, because you don't know them. I don't have I don't have an unhealthy fear of the spirit world that we're told to have a fear about. And so that fear and that sense of danger no longer exists.
Right.
And it's really interesting, because what they want you to believe is that fear and that danger doesn't exist in their world. But when you realize that it's all a bunch of crap, then you can let that go. Like, anyway, it was just crazy just to think about it that way. It's crazy. So what kept you staying longer than you wanted to?
Right. Well, so what kept me staying longer? I mean, it's a little bit multifaceted, because I remember, so before we moved, we were in a very toxic situation that I had been observing for many years. In fact, I observed it for a decade. And by the time we left, I remember saying to my husband that mentally I was not a CHM person anymore. Like, I did not agree with them. I didn't believe all these things were necessary. And I was that was such a hard time. By the time we left there, I was doing things out of obligation.
Yeah.
Out of that whole fog, like fear, obligation, and guilt. That's what kept me there, was fear, obligation, and guilt of what people would think of me, say about me, that kind of thing. Because I was already getting a lot of scrutiny from the people that, goodness, I mean, I was the bad guy. I was the villain in their story because I saw how things were, and I wasn't the person that was just gonna let it go.
Right.
Especially when they were treating people so badly and it was so toxic.
Mm-hmm.
I remember specifically one service, and this is I don't know if people understand the absolute like mind games that you end up playing and are being played on you.
Yeah.
Like in that system, like your attitude is a big deal.
Oh my god.
And so because I had such a problem with this particular person, who was my pastor actually, he led me to the discovery of narcissism.
Yep.
And like fit the bill completely. Obviously he's not diagnosed, but like his behaviors were narcissistic.
Mm-hmm.
And not just a little bit.
Right.
And so I would observe a lot of these behaviors, and several of my friends also saw it. Some did not. But I did not like him, and I couldn't hide it.
Oh.
And so, but then there was the other side where we're supposed to love each other and forgive each other and be kind to each other and give each other the benefit of the doubt, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So all of that kind of thinking. And I remember one service where I don't know what got preached, but I was feeling guilty. And I was feeling guilty about how I was treating him.
Your pastor?
Yes, my pastor. And I apologized to him publicly at the altar for my attitude towards him. I wish I would have never done that because I am not sorry. I was feeling guilty and I was being manipulated into that because that's the type of culture that it is.
Yeah.
He is still a very highly toxic person, has not changed at all.
Right.
In fact, if anything, it's worse. So we talked about last time a little bit the cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
And that's literally kind of like it's like a psychological tether where you're trying to make these two opposing ideas true at the same time, and you can't. And so you're so comfortable in that world, you want it to be true because that's all you've known. And if you don't believe that, then you lose everything. You lose everybody. Mm-hmm. And you become the sinner and the villain and the person that they request prayer for because you're so lost and all these things. And so you don't want to be on that list. And you also like don't want to have to like go basically start over from the ground up.
Yeah.
Because those are your choices. There's not really an in between. I've seen people who try to ride that fence and it is confusing as hell.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Like, yeah, there's no middle of the road on that one. I feel
like they have to actually jump through more hoops mentally to do that middle of the road thing. And I'm just like, just own it.
Yeah.
You do not believe it.
Yeah.
You're still allowing yourself to be controlled and taken advantage of by these people because they will do it until you cut it off.
And several people come to mind, not that I'm their judge, and I actually obviously do not I'm not going to be like you're doing the wrong thing by doing this, but I do believe that they are mentally hurting themselves in the long run by, there's one in particular person I can think of that is just so mentally down all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it is that they ride this middle of the road and they can't justify some of the things they're hearing and seeing, because it's just not right, like
Right.
at all. And no matter how you look at it, it's not right. But yet they're still so entrenched there
Well,
in some ways.
they still fawn to those people, to the
Yes.
cult. They fawn to them because they're still very much concerned about what they will say, what their reputation will be.
Well, for me, it was like, how is it going to affect them? Like, am I going to destroy them?
Yes, it's that
I
whole
finally got over that.
it's that stumbling block verse that they're stumbling
Yes.
over themselves.
Yes, it is not. I am not responsible for their happiness or for their security or for. I am responsible. Exactly, I'm responsible for mine, and I'm responsible to my children to an extent. But for everybody else, I have to. Yeah, you have to take your hands off. You cannot. You're not responsible. You're not responsible for your parents' happiness at all. It's anyway.
I feel like it's actually a bigger roadblock.
Oh,
to that.
Yes, it is completely.
Like because because then you're not living authentically, and
You're lying to yourself and to everybody else around you. Yeah.
I feel like that's far more damaging. Because I've heard people like, oh, well, if I started wearing pants, then these people, they would just not know how to handle it. And I actually think that is very, I want to say selfish, but that's not the word. But they are giving themselves an awful lot of power over another person.
Yeah. That's true. That's a good one.
And
I need to remember that one.
I mean,
that's so true.
It's kind of gross to me.
Yeah.
To be like, well, it's the covert side of the narcissistic mindset, where you call it concern, and it's not.
No, I totally 100% agree.
But
I would call it concern.
You are still manipulating them and trying to control their perception of you.
Yes.
And that is not
100%, Sarah. Oh, that is good. That is really good. It makes so much sense. Why?
That's more disgusting than overt manipulation.
Well, just like not doing what is authentically you, or what you feel is completely fine and okay, or whatever it is, whether it's painting your nails, cutting your hair, wearing pants, or going to the movie theater, whether it's an action, not doing what's authentic and being completely and totally honest. It's like coming out, right? It's like you're coming out as completely you to these people and leaving their mental health in their hands and taking it off of you.
Yeah.
There is no reason why one person should have that much control over another person. And it's not real. It really isn't. I seriously, you and I had a conversation where I was just bawling. You'll remember it. Many. I don't know if we've had.
I think I know what you're talking about now that you said that. But.
Yeah, I don't normally bawl on the phone with you, but this day I did, and it was about my daughter. You remember?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
From that moment on, I have verbally told my kids. I've tried my hardest to verbally tell my kids anytime I see that they are acting in a way just because they think it'll make me happy, or they're trying to keep me from getting upset, or they even verbally tell me, I'm afraid you're going to get upset.
Mm-hmm.
I have told them, you are not responsible for my happiness or my emotional well-being at all. That is, I want them to get that in their head that I don't expect it from them, and it's not real. If they have to act in a way to make me happy, then I'm at fault, right? Like,
right.
I'm the one that is making them feel that way.
Yes.
You cannot be, if a person can't be happy on their own, they're not going to be happy at all. Like, that's not true happiness.
Well, but it's teaching them that they have to be performative and embrace themselves, their needs, and their wants as children.
Right.
Which will carry over into adulthood. It's
Absolutely.
not even a question.
Absolutely.
And so it's teaching them that your feelings are more important than theirs.
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, like for me, like staying was always because of a lot of mental hoops I felt like I had to jump through.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became the literal, like the physical things, as far as like being at an institution where you're being like extremely financially abused. And so leaving, again, extremely terrifying.
Absolutely.
Like the last 2 or 3 months, it was like a question of, are we going to be homeless? Like literally.
Yes. Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. And then also having a child who's like newly special needs. And
you'd been dealing with that for at least a full 2 years before.
A year.
Or maybe a year and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
Which was new and still very new and fresh. I mean, good night.
Yeah. So, like when you leave, so for us, it was more than just leaving the church, because it wasn't like we could just stop going to that church and do something different. We had to move and leave an institution that our home was tied to, and our income was tied to.
Yeah.
And like we did not know where those two things were going to come from.
Mm-hmm.
So leaving was a literal leap of faith, with some really big miracles kind of mixed in, if you want to call it that. It's definitely probably how I would classify it.
And thank God for a supportive family, right?
Well, part of one.
The two, well, that's what I'm saying. The only part of the support that you had, they've been your biggest support, and they're amazing people.
Yeah.
To house you.
Because we had like extremely supportive on one, like my husband's side, as far as like his parents.
Mm-hmm.
And we lost mine at the same time, or in that time frame, in the last few months.
Yeah.
Which that's its own ball of wax. A little bit interconnected, but I mean, for us to leave, I mean, it was terror at every possible level.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know that we still haven't processed through all that at all, even though it's been, it'll be 3 years this summer. Yeah.
Here it seems like, it seems like just last year. I mean, it just, it does not seem that far away.
No, it doesn't. And that's the thing. Like, it's not like just because we left, all of a sudden everything's better.
No.
Because there's so much like psychological work to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And to even be able to come to a place where you can do the psychological work,
Absolutely.
like it's a very long process.
Yeah.
So like,
Absolutely.
you get away and, thank goodness, like, no, we're not homeless.
Yeah.
And we had a place to go. But then now we have to navigate a whole new life, um, figuring out new solutions, educationally for our kids, not knowing anyone or anything about this location. And,
Yeah.
that Christian school that's close by is like just not even, it's not on the table as an option. Never will be, never has been.
Yeah. No.
Absolutely not. And I occasionally still hear stories about that place. Um, but
Sure.
with its connection to the cult that way, I'm not surprised in the least. But it's not a
Mm-mm.
place that I could support whatsoever. Um, Nor would I, like, sending my kids there would just be to continue to like traumatize them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, like, they're in a really good place right now. It's a really good place, finally.
Mm-hmm.
But even that first, year and a half was really difficult to understand.
Right.
Really difficult.
Yeah.
Um, for a lot of reasons. But
It just
transitions
takes,
like that are just difficult.
they are, they're never going
Like,
to be easy.
even if it was in the best of circumstances, it's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And a
know?
lot of it is the time. Time is very important, obviously. I mean, but 3 years, you think that's a long time. It really isn't when you have gone 40 plus years in
Right.
an abusive situation.
Yeah, when that's
Yeah.
all you know and have ever known,
Yeah.
and that's all they've known.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
you think of the toil it's taking on you and me to, with this. The kids don't even have a clue how to express their emotions and feelings. Um, I mean, good grief, we barely know how to express our emotions and feelings because we were just never taught to do it correctly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's,
In some ways, I feel like they have the pros for them is that they, at least for mine, they saw the hypocrisy, as
mm-hmm,
did I,
mm-hmm,
and they did not have to suppress that observation.
mm-hmm.
And I didn't either, but I also didn't talk to hardly anybody.
Right.
Just because, I mean, I was very isolated by my mere existence as not agreeing with them and refusing to comply in ways that they wanted me to.
Yeah.
Because they want you to be on brand, even whether
Yeah.
you have a contract with them or not. If you are even connected with someone that is working for them, they want you on brand,
Mm-hmm.
and they will try to make you, even though they
Yeah.
have no legal rights there.
Mm-mm.
But
Well,
yeah,
they make you so dependent on them. Like
yeah.
your whole existence depends on them, your financial security, all of that stuff is so dependent on them that then they can call the shots. It's like,
Yeah, if you don't do this,
what am I
then you
trying to
don't have a
say?
place to live.
Right. And if you don't follow their rules, then they can kick you out anytime because they own the house, they own their paycheck, they own the car, quite literally. I mean, sometimes even they own the food that you eat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, what do you call that, Sarah? When you have got, when somebody falls in love with their captive.
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. That's exactly the feeling I think that it's the same brain wiring, like the
same dynamic
thing in your brain. Yeah, that is what they do. Oh, anyway,
they make you dependent
that's
on them, and
crazy.
at the same time, you're also praising them for how wonderful they are for abusing you.
Exactly. Oh my
Because
goodness.
you're giving God an opportunity to really come through.
And there is story after story that you and I both have, of sucking up to these people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Yes, yeah, not a fan.
Mm-mm.
Anyways, what's the next question?
So what was the moment that you realized you couldn't unsee it anymore?
Okay. I'm trying to think of like as far as like the cult. So I'm trying to think. I don't think there was like a specific moment. I mean, there was a lot of things that kind of came together all at, that started at different times, but they kind of all kind of came together and solidified my experience, like validated what I was seeing.
Mm-hmm.
It made everything like make sense finally.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of what brought that all into focus really, that gave me the clarity, because it was like I knew that it was off, that something's wrong, like this doesn't make sense, but I also don't know how to explain it, and I don't know how to put a finger on it, but it's like, something's wrong, but what?
Right.
And so what really started bringing that into focus for me was when I think first I found Sheila Ray Gregoire through a Bear Marriage.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's where I the purity culture was explained, and not just purity culture, but the impact, like in hardcore numbers, was finally explained.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like one of those moments where it was like everything just all of a sudden came together, and it was like someone turned the light on in a room.
She's amazing.
And
oh my goodness, I love
and
the
like
podcast.
my experience all of a sudden just made complete sense.
When was that you what year was that? Do you know?
That would have been in 2021, like late 2020, early 2021.
Right before I came to, right before you and I connected again.
It was, because you came in the midsummer, or you came in the summer of 21, and I had already found her book had come out, and I had read the book, and I'd been listening to her podcast and just like reading her posts and stuff. And then also in 2021, in I think February, I had started a new job, and one of the girls there was like, "Oh yeah, I was listening to this podcast. Like, do you like psychology and like how your brain works and stuff like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm complete nerd."
No kidding.
And I'm just thinking, it's just like, how's your brain work? Like that's what I'm thinking that this podcast is.
She's so much. She's so much more.
So much more than that.
I love her podcast. She's amazing.
No, so this was the place we find ourselves, is what that podcast is.
Oh, another good one.
Yeah, and so I had already like been reading and listening to all these interviews with Sheila, and then her book finally came out. I was so excited to read it.
Okay.
And again, like all these light bulbs are just going off everywhere. Of like all of a sudden, it's like you ever play solitaire on the computer?
Yes.
And at the end, where everything starts bouncing into place. Kind of like that. Like all of a sudden, it was just like, shoo. And it all
Yep.
made sense. And then I'm like, well, that explains like the purity culture aspect that I had experienced, as well as like the patriarchal piece.
Oh, yes.
And so I'm like, okay, I get it. And then, let's see, not yet. So then my coworker recommended that podcast. Well, I just threw it into my list. I didn't listen to it right away. In fact, I think it was probably a couple months before I even turned one on.
Right.
And I had like a 45-minute drive to work at this point. And so clearly I now have time to actually listen to a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I'm also on a podcast this morning. I didn't really listen to podcasts that much at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I just a title caught my eye from that podcast, and I played it. And the whole time that like they do this, like are going through this episode, they're not even long, they're like 20 minutes. In my mind, I'm like, oh crap. Oh crap. Oh crap. and I'm so like this is making too much sense. I am going to have to go to the, like in my mind, this is my mental monologue. I'm going to have to go to the beginning of this podcast, which is episode 1, and start from the beginning.
Yep.
And honestly, I feel like even though like the purity culture thing had come together, it was making sense. And I was going through a lot with that. Like starting that podcast was like the crux of like that literally changed everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I spent months because there was like over 100 episodes, around 100 episodes or so.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot.
I don't know if there was 100 yet, but it was, I mean, like even if you listen to one a day, that's like 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I started listening to 1 and 2 episodes a day. A lot of times I do 2 because like I take things in like a train wreck. I can't stop.
You can't.
And because it's like all of a sudden it's making it make sense, and I need it. I need it to make sense.
Yes.
And yeah, I am. I can't stop. No, not everyone. I feel like that's not normal.
Oh, I have a daughter like that for sure.
But I would spend most mornings on my way to work and home sobbing as I listened.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden everything came together.
Yeah.
And made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And like every episode they would have like some would just be like where he's like explaining all of the scientific terms in layman's terms, and I feel like he does an excellent job of that, of making things like understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Like he makes difficult concepts easy to understand.
When I listened to that, you got me on those, and when I listened to them, it blew me away that I could understand it, because I don't do well with like the scientific words and everything, and he breaks it down to yes. Anyway, sorry, but he is amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and then like he would have guests on, and they would share a part of their story.
Mm-hmm.
And although I did not experience everything that those people experienced, mm-hmm. there was always something in the story that I related to, that like a dynamic that I was familiar with.
Right.
There was one particular person who I was like, oh, are you me?
Like, yes. There, yeah,
What's going on?
yeah. There was always one that would hit like so close to where you were,
kind of
and like,
too.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's where the blinders really started coming off, was in those months where I was listening to that, and where I really feel like that's when I started to really come out of the fog and
Yeah.
gain clarity. And there was absolutely no going back.
Not once you see it.
Like, it is a physical impossibility.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, and I know you'll like resonate with this, but for you and me both, once you get to the point where you realize it's not you, you're not the one. You can quit beating yourself up. Which is what we did our whole lives. It was always us. We're the ones that think wrong, that desire wrong things. We are the problem completely and totally. And you realize that it wasn't us. I mean, who wants to go back from that after you have just like completely destroyed yourself internally, and fed into what everybody else around you was saying? I definitely don't want to go back to treat myself that way. I don't want my kids to treat themselves that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, completely. 100%
well, I mean,
understand.
it's like you finally, for the first time ever, feel like you have some dignity.
Absolutely. Self-worth.
Yeah. And understanding what it takes to get a person to the places that you were. Didn't happen out of sheer rebellion or stinginess.
Exactly.
Or you were not purposely, maliciously choosing your life.
Right.
Like learning what informed your mind to make the choices that you made. And I think this is where maybe people get caught up. People they need to have a place to put fault.
There has to be an explanation, and the one that they gravitate towards is,
well, if you're the adult in the situation, you bear far more responsibility. In fact, I would say if it's a child and an adult, the adult bears all the responsibility.
100% responsibility, yeah.
And even if that adult's intentions were good, they can't seem to hold the fact that they could have a good intentions and actually maybe be a good person, and their actions and words are harmful.
Absolutely.
You can hurt someone and be a good person.
But educate yourself.
Yeah.
As adults,
we bear the responsibility of educating ourselves about ourselves.
Especially if we know that we're hurting our children.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had to re-educate myself last night.
Yes.
Because I did something. Yeah, I did something that mentally and probably a little physically hurt my child. And after sitting and thinking about that, I had to go quite literally grovel. And they could not forgive me. And that was okay. Because I wouldn't have forgiven me either. I acted on impulse. It's very few and far between now between me and my kids. I no longer take out on them what I'm dealing with in the world. Not on a regular basis like I used to. But I'm still learning how to backpedal on that. Process. Absolutely. You have to give yourself grace for one thing. But also, when you know you have messed up, you have to go, and they still haven't forgiven me, and they're not going to go to hell.
But
they are not going to go to hell.
Process.
If they want to be mad at me for the next month, they have every reason to be, because I was out of line. And I am 46 years old, and they're under the age of 10. Like, how do we expect? It makes so much sense to me now. Anyway.
Yep. No, like being in that environment and in that cult environment, and this happens not just there, but it's intensified there. Mm-hmm. Expecting children whose frontal cortex lobe is so underdeveloped because of, it's supposed to be.
Right.
Like, that actually doesn't happen until between 25 and 30 years old.
Yeah.
And we're expecting them to behave as if they are a 30-year-old.
Exactly.
That has, not just 30 years old, that has been raised with all of these proper examples and discipline and in the most healthy way, we expect them to behave when we're not even, we're not doing that.
Exactly.
I don't know anyone who is.
I don't either.
I mean,
Sarah, you and I are the only ones, well, one other person that I know personally, that are trying our best to break the cycle of the way that we were raised. And no, it's not perfect, and it never will be. But that's why I really do encourage my kids into that therapy session type, because they're going to need it.
Through your therapy.
I totally would.
If I can, I will. But please get a job.
And
insurance for
that. That has that insurance that will, become a YouTuber. Don't do that. You can have a podcast like we do.
Yes.
But I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
Again, the primary difference, because here's the thing, and I think we all know this, but it gets thrown in your face and used as an excuse, is that, well, I'm not perfect. And that gets thrown at, well, I'm not perfect. And they act like you're as if you asked for that.
Exactly. We're not asking you to be perfect.
Never happened.
Yeah.
Nor was it ever expected.
No.
But
just learn from your mistakes and try harder.
Is not the goal.
No.
Accountability is. Because we're never going to be perfect.
No. But we
will make mistakes.
Owning it covers so much.
Yeah.
It helps so much. Like, just admitting what finally helped you trust your own instincts. Trust yourself again.
Ooh. I do think I talked about this a little bit. But
this is a big one.
It is big. Because my instincts have been very strong.
Yes.
All the way through my life. Whether or not I could say anything is a whole different story.
Right.
And I feel like, so after we got married and I started seeing the issues with the pastor, right? And it was bad enough that, like I said, I couldn't let it go because it was having a direct impact on my family. And then I don't remember exactly how the topic of narcissism came about. I'm a reader. in every possible way. Online, physical books, audio, whatever.
Yeah.
And I am kind of nerdy. I like a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, somewhere, I read an article online that talked about narcissism. I do not know how I got there.
Yeah.
But it was one of those aha moments that suddenly validated what I was observing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, what is this? And so then I started researching and just reading about what narcissistic personality disorder was.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And obviously, like, I can't diagnose anybody, but what I was seeing matched what I was reading.
Right.
And so I reached out to someone I knew in our movement who would perhaps have some knowledge about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I reached out to this person, and they sent me back, they were a counselor, by the way. They sent me back a few different articles, and they said, hey, look at these. And I think they said, like, is this what they were looking at? So I read them, and it was specific to pastors who were narcissistic.
Okay.
I was like, shit.
Oh, that's crazy.
And so I started reading that, and I mean, my jaw hit the floor.
Oh, I bet.
And it was like all of a sudden, again, everything made sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I started seeing that, and it started validating what I was seeing. And I think that's where I really started to trust my gut more, because so many times I'm just like, this is what I'm seeing, but everyone else is just like, no, that's not it. They're not like that. But if some people would validate it, and then, like, I actually ended up confronting them.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted me to do that either. Nobody, not even my closest friends wanted me to say anything. But I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I can't. No. I have to say something because that is who I am.
Absolutely.
I can't, like, just let it go, not say something. But once I say my piece, I'm done. And they can choose what to do with that. And honestly, like, it was a very classic response from the narcissistic playbook. And I said my piece, let it go, and then things continued to happen and progress and get worse. And then we moved on to a new location, in which we started that whole process of me noticing things all over again. On a much grander scale.
Yes.
So
crazy.
About halfway through our time there at the college, once again, I'm seeing all the patterns, and of course, as a woman, I'm experiencing a lot more pushback because I'm a woman, and because I wasn't complying with their handbook, even though I was not their employee. At that point, I knew. But then once again, when all the things came into play with, like finding Sheila Gregoire, and that the place we find ourselves podcast, and then Brie and Holiness came into the picture.
Yep.
That was like the center. It was just like,
yeah.
Sorry, y'all. And I like, as much as I love Brie and Holiness, like, they were very instrumental for me. As much as I loved them, I also knew that we would not stay on the same page either.
No.
As much as I loved them, And they were so helpful.
Yeah.
I knew early on that we would not be aligned in all of our beliefs, which is fine, whatever.
Right.
But it was at like once I really got like in 2021, I think that's where it solidified, and I had the most confidence that I knew I was right, and I couldn't stay. Like to stay would be to literally kill myself slowly from the inside out.
Right.
Like quite literally.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything I learned since then taught me to trust my gut, and it's never been wrong.
Right. Yeah.
So
crazy.
it's like when you let yourself trust your gut, and it's not even like you're out there making accusations. You're just letting it play out as you're just an observer.
Right.
And you're right.
Yeah.
When you're right,
Yeah.
like freaking every time.
Yeah.
Why?
And that's the thing, is that that's part of your identity, is that you are giving this extremely strong instinct about certain things. And yeah.
It's
that's
wild.
so crazy. Huh?
I mean, it is wild because
it is wild when you're not,
like,
when you realize how never wrong you
like
are.
How often I thought if this happens, then this is going to happen, and if this happens, then this is going to happen, and then that thing happened, and that thing happened, and every time, like, it would come through. I'm like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things where I'm like, I don't say anything about it, but I just will step away and observe.
Yeah.
And I haven't been wrong yet. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Very strange. So yeah, I don't talk it out a whole lot, but oftentimes it just looks like me stepping back.
Yeah. It's really interesting because I have noticed this about you, and which we're soul sisters. I mean, it's just the way it is. And I've noticed this about you, but I've also noticed about myself for a really long time, that I don't like to assume anything. Like, I do not like assumptions.
Right.
It can seem like an assumption when you have such a strong instinct about something, and you know what's going to happen, and you voice it. And so you just learn not to voice it. Like, it comes in your head, and you think, this is what's going to happen. And it happens exactly the way that you knew it would.
Yeah, and sometimes even on a grander scale or a bigger scale than you anticipated.
Oh yeah, yeah. You didn't realize it would.
Like, I knew it would be bad. I didn't realize it'd be that bad, but I wasn't wrong.
No, crazy. It's crazy. So, wow.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Such a journey, and we're still journeying along the way. Thanks for joining us, everybody, today. Yeah, Sarah, thanks for sharing your story. It's amazing.
Well, so yours. I do want to say, if this content is something that connects with you and you enjoy, please like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you want to help support us, we do have a Ko-Fi link in our description box. So this is just a small way that you can help us out. But yeah, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. That would be the biggest thing to help us out. And it takes like 2 seconds. Not even like a millisecond.
Especially if you stuck with us this long.
Still with us.
Yes. We love you. We support you.
Hello and welcome.
Yes. And until next time, bye.
You've been listening on the party line to I'm on the Phone podcast with Sarah and Christy. Join us again next week for more stories about our pre, post, and mid-culty life. Thanks for listening.